How's it going, everybody? My name is Salty and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 guns here in Vanguard. Alright, starting us out here at number 5, we have the Automaton. This is a fast fire rate, very easily controlled assault rifle that has an insane time to kill. It's a weapon that you're going to want to use at medium and close ranges, and you can even take some long range gunfights. However, I would not suggest it, as you'll probably lose a gunfight to an LMG or even an STG at the end of the day. Those have better effective damage ranges. This thing is still an absolute beast. If you're an aggressive player, this is definitely the AR for you. So we're going to jump into the class setup for the Automaton here. Starting G28 compensator, you're going to need some recoil control on the weapon, but not really all too much. At the end of the day, the G28 compensator really takes care of everything needed. For the barrel, you have the Anastasia sniper. There's not many bad barrels for this overall. The burst is very good. The 600mm is very good, but the Anastasia sniper is what puts it over the top. It ups your bullet velocity, damage range, and overall accuracy of the weapon, which is extremely important while running an AR. This is what makes it outcompete in those medium ranges. For the optic, this is a preference. Like everything in this video, you're going to want to run what you're comfortable with in the optic category. I like the slate reflector, so if you're undecided, I highly recommend you give that a go. For the stock, the Anastasia padded. This is for flinch resistance, and then accuracy and recoil control during sustained fire. This is a very accurate weapon, like I said, so that flinch resistance is definitely going to help that cause. For the underbarrel, you're going to want the M3 ready grip. Aim down sight time, sprint to fire time, and aim walking movement speed. This just helps the overall movement of the weapon. Like I said, it's an aggressive AR, so you're going to need all of those positives there. For the magazine, the Sakura 45 round mags. You really do not need to go with this 75 round drum here unless you're playing like 18v18 blitz. The Sakura is definitely enough. You're only sacrificing a little bit of movement and aim down sight time, but 45 bullets is definitely plenty. For the ammo type, you're going to want lengthen to up the bullet velocity of the weapon. The polymer grip, again, for that flinch resistance, and then accuracy and recoil during sustained fire. And then frenzy, which in my opinion is actually the best proficiency in the game. It is like quick fix from Modern Warfare. I wish all the weapons had it, because this is exactly what I would be running. What it does is it's health regeneration after kills, which means the second you get a kill, your health will immediately start to regenerate. It's not like instant where you get to full health, but it'll start to regenerate right away. And then the kit fully loaded. That's a go-to on every single class setup here in the game. That's the Automaton class setup. We're going to jump over to number 4. At number 4, we have the Type 100. This probably would have been at number 2 for me had they not nerfed the 2-shot ability of the weapon. It's still extremely good and definitely one of the best SMGs in the game. And the Type 100 is definitely a go-to for me. It's extremely fun to use. So for the muzzle, we're going to start with the Strife compensator. Recoil control is going to be needed on this build, as we're going to be running some attachments that kind of ruin some of that recoil control, but it's still very easily controlled at the end of the day. It's a weapon you want to stick close range with. For the barrel, you're going to want the 134mm rapid to up the fire rate and damage range of this weapon. That was one of the things that it did lack, in my opinion, is that overall damage range, and the fire rate is just an added bonus there. For the optic, I have the Sakura short irons. Like I said in the previous class setup there, this is a preference. If you guys already have a scope or an optic that you are comfortable running, you can definitely go with that. But this iron sight, in my opinion, is definitely the go-to for me. For the stock, you're going to want the skeletal to add to the sprint to fire time of the weapon. Like I said, we are going to be losing some of those recoil control abilities here, but it's still very easily controlled. For the underbarrel, you're going to want the M1941 hand stop. This will up some of your recoil control and accuracy. You are losing some hip fire accuracy, but overall, it's still extremely easy to use. The hip fire accuracy is still very, very good. For the magazine, this is one of those recoil control attachments that really does kick it quite a bit, but it's extremely important that you do run it. We have the 40-round drum, the 8mm Kerr's 40-round drum for the bullet velocity and range, damage, bullet penetration, and overall magazine ammo capacity. Like I said here, you can see it's up to -5 recoil control and accuracy, -3 to your aim down sight time, movement speed, and then -2 to the fire rate. But we're running that rapid fire barrel to make up for the fire rate loss. But the damage is the big importance here. As you can see, it's up to 28 damage and then 11 meters in the effective damage range, which isn't all too bad for an SMG. For the rear grip, you're going to want the fabric grip to make up for some of that aim down sight time loss. With the magazine, you also get sprint to fire time, along with hip fire recoil recovery. And then for the proficiency, we have vital to overall just make the area for critical kills larger, meaning if you hit them in the shoulders, neck, upper chest, it's going to count as like a headshot. And then for the kit, fully loaded, like always, we're going to jump over to number 3. At number 3, we have the MP40. This is a weapon, in my opinion, that's going to get nerfed. It is a go-to weapon for the pros right now. This is 100% of the time what they're going to be running in the SMG category, but it's a very easily controlled recoil, high damage output, and even good at medium range kind of SMG. It's, in my opinion, somewhat like a Peacekeeper, but maybe not as good as a Peacekeeper in the sense that you can't shoot as far, but it's still extremely good. Probably the best close range weapon in the game. We're going to get started here in the muzzle with the recoil booster to up the fire rate. We're running the 32 round mag here, which is going to slow down that fire rate, so we're going to need to make up for it with the recoil booster. For the barrel, you're going to want the 317mm 04B, highly accurate and controllable in reduced scope sway and gun bob. It will just help your overall accuracy of the weapon. For the optic, I have the Crow Stink ISO 1M. It's just a different iron sight here for the MP40, and overall it is pretty good, but as I said before, you guys can really go with whatever you want with here. For the stock, you're going to want this VDD 34M padded to help with some recoil control on the weapon, along with accuracy, flinch resistance, and recoil recovery. This is one of the big attachments that will help it be extremely accurate when you get into a medium range gunfight. For the underbarrel, you're going to want the M1941 hand stop, again for some recoil control and accuracy. And now we're going to go down to this magazine I was referring to. We have the 8mm Curse 32 round mag, +2 to your bullet velocity and damage range, +1 to your bullet penetration and overall damage of the weapon. And then you can see there, it brings down the fire rate -2, but the recoil booster brought it right back up to its normal fire rate, then -5 to the recoil control and accuracy. But with all the attachments we did add as far as recoil control goes, there's no problems there at all. For the rear grip, you're going to want the polymer grip for the flinch resistance and overall accuracy and recoil control during sustained fire. For the proficiency, brace, initial accuracy, and recoil control. And then kit fully loaded like always. We're going to jump over to number 2. At number 2, I'm sure there's no surprises here. We have the STG-44. High damage, low recoil, extremely easy weapon to use, and a weapon I definitely see going to get nerfed just like the MP40. We're going to start with the muzzle here with the recoil booster to up the fire rate of the STG. For the barrel, the VDD 760mm 05B, highly accurate and controllable, reduced scope sway and gun bob, and then added to your damage range there. The negatives aren't all too big of a deal either. Sprint to fire time, aim walking movement speed, hip fire accuracy. It's a weapon you're going to want to take medium range gunfights with, and even long range gunfights, so you shouldn't be really sprinting at people with SMGs and shotguns. It just wouldn't be an ideal situation. For the optic, I have the slate reflector, but like always, if you guys have a sight that you enjoy more, definitely go with that. For the stock, you're going to want the VDD 34S weighted, +4 to your aiming stability, +3 to your recoil control, +3 to your accuracy, and then +2 to your flinch resistance. This is the attachment that will give it virtually no recoil at all. And then for the underbarrel, we have the M3 ready grip, aim down sight time, sprint to fire time, and aim walking movement speed. You are losing a little bit of recoil control there, but the stock really just overtakes it. There's not much to be controlled there. For the magazine, you're going to want the Russian short 30 round mags, +2 to your bullet velocity and range, +1 to your bullet penetration, and +1 to your damage. This is another weapon that had the ability to 2-shot kill before, especially with this magazine here. Luckily, they did nerf that, but overall, it's a great attachment still. For the ammo type, you're going to want lengthen to up that bullet velocity, then polymer grip for the flinch resistance and accuracy and recoil control during sustained fire. Proficiency vital, we already went over that. It is just a higher range for critical kills, meaning you can hit them in the neck, upper chest, shoulders, and it will count as a headshot. And then for the kit, fully loaded like always. And at number 1, you guys, I'm sure, are not going to be surprised. At number 1, we have the combat shotgun. As much as this pains me to do, it is definitely the best weapon in the game. It has ridiculous damage range, ridiculous damage, and it's going to get nerfed. It was already confirmed by Sledgehammer that this weapon's going to get nerfed, so if you guys are going for camos, this is definitely one you need to knock out, while shipment is added back into the game as of today at 1 o'clock. The shotguns are abysmal in this game as far as they're too good, and I can't wait for them to get nerfed. I actually only have this up to level 39, which shows you I don't use shotguns. My other shotguns are level 1. I'm not a person that likes to abuse them, but if you're going for camos, you definitely need to knock these out before they end up nerfing them. I'm assuming before Season 1. We're going to get started here. The M97 full choke, tighter pellet spread. Not much needed to say there. For the barrel, you're going with the Framble number 3, hip fire accuracy, recoil recovery, and hip fire recoil recovery. It's the hip fire accuracy. You can literally run around and not even aim down the sights with this weapon and get a one-shot kills like crazy. So this barrel is going to be huge. For the optic, I didn't actually run anything here, but you guys can run whatever you want. For the stock, you're going to want the Wire Custom. Again, added hip fire accuracy. That's the big one. You're losing recoil control, but it's a shotgun. It's a single fire weapon anyways. It will automatically recenter for you. For the underbarrel, you're going to want the SMLE pistol grip, added sprint to fire time. If you're going to be running around with a shotgun, you're going to need fast sprint to fire time. So the SMLE pistol grip is going to 100% be the go-to here. For the magazine, the 16 gauge 10 round drum, just maximize the ammo capacity here. That's just all I can say about it. There's no better option at the end of the day. For the ammo type, you're going to want buck and slug. It did get nerfed, but it's still extremely overpowered. It treats it like a slug, but at the same time, it spreads like a normal shotgun would. So it's got a slug and then the pellets like you normally would. It's just extremely ridiculous. This is what's going to give you that insane one-shot kill potential. For the rear grip, polymer grip, or flinch resistance and accuracy and recoil control during sustained fire. For the proficiency, you're going to want frenzy, so you can immediately start regenerating health after you get a kill, and then fully loaded like always. If you guys are interested in seeing some gameplay with some of these class setups, I highly recommend you guys subscribe to the channel with notifications on. I will be covering absolutely every one of these. Some of them are already on the channel, but after the nerfs, I'll be covering these. After all the weapon balancing, I'll be covering these. I got an MP40 gameplay for you guys on Numa Numa, where I got a V2 rocket that's featuring the class setup that you guys saw in this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys are new, like I said, make sure you hit that subscribe button with notifications on. If you learned something new or plan on using some of these class setups, make sure you hit the like button for me. Hope you guys enjoy the gameplay.
We're down. Hard points under fire. Hard point is ours. Hard point is active. Double kill. Hard point is ours. Flamethrower, fueled and ready. They're driving us back. Attack dogs ready for action. Our attack dogs are on the loose. Hard point located. Contact at the hard point. Hard point is active. Double kill. Hard point. Double kill. Bloodthirsty. We control the hard point. Hostile recon in the air. Fire to the sky. Hard point located. Flamethrower is ready. Attack dogs ready for action. Local informants have a report. Double kill. Contact at the hard point. Fury kill. Hard point located. Hard point is active. Kill. Flamethrower, fueled and ready. Attack dogs ready for action. Local informants have a report. Jrbcklove. Local informants are helping you out. Ruthless. Hard point located. Hard point's under fire. Hard point is active. Attack dogs inbound for you.
If you guys enjoyed the video, if you could make sure you hit that like button for me, that'd be absolutely awesome. If you're new to the channel, make sure you also smash that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video.
What?